Echoes of the Moon. If you like this story, please comment, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for upcoming videos. Until then, let your imagination run wild. We'll get there. The air in the control room was thick with anticipation as the mission to investigate the object in crater 21BF was about to begin. Astronomers had spotted something strange months ago, something that did not belong. It was an anomaly, an unnatural shape nestled within the massive crater on the moon's surface, roughly 50 miles in diameter. No one could explain it, and so the space agency decided to launch a manned mission to gather more information. I was part of that mission, Commander Ethan Vaughn. We were the best of the best, or so we thought. My crew consisted of 4 other experts: Dr. Lara Miller, an astrophysicist; Lieutenant Marcus Hayes, a skilled pilot; Dr. Samir Patel, a geologist; and Lisa Cheng, a biologist. We were tasked with flying close to the crater and documenting any anomalies that might provide more answers. It was supposed to be a simple, routine operation, in and out. But as we descended towards crater 21BF, the unthinkable happened. Approaching target, Marcus called from the pilot's seat. His voice was steady, but I could tell from the tension in his hands that he was feeling the weight of the mission. The rest of us kept our eyes on the monitors, searching for any irregularities. And then, without warning, a violent jolt sent the ship spinning. The ship's hull groaned, a horrible screech as if the very metal was bending under immense pressure. I could see sparks flying from the console. Everything around me erupted into chaos, flashing alarms, red lights, and the horrific sound of tearing metal. I don't know what happened next. One moment, I was grasping for anything to hold on to, and the next, I was thrown violently against the wall. My body slammed hard against the interior, and then the darkness took me. When I regained consciousness, pain was the first thing I felt, a deep, unrelenting ache in my legs. I groaned, trying to shift but finding myself unable to move. My legs felt like they had been crushed, broken. I blinked against the lunar dust that was swirling in the air around me. The wreckage of our ship was scattered across the crater floor, and from the looks of it, my crew hadn't been as lucky. Their bodies were nowhere in sight, lost to the violent crash. I was alone, and yet I could feel something else, a strange vibration in the ground beneath me. The very earth, or rather the moon, seemed to hum with energy. I tried to scream, but the words caught in my throat, swallowed by the oppressive silence of the barren world. And then the ground began to shift. It wasn't a natural tremor. No, it was something mechanical. It was as if the very moon itself was alive. Cracks appeared in the surface around me, lines of light glowing beneath the dirt, and an immense opening began to form before my eyes. It was too perfect, too deliberate. The space in front of me was not merely a gap, it was a doorway. Before I could process what was happening, something seized me. It was as though invisible hands were lifting me, pulling me towards the opening. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. My body felt like it was paralyzed, but not by any physical restraint. It was a force far beyond my comprehension, an unyielding will that trapped me in my own skin. The beings that greeted me as I was pulled through the doorway were unlike anything I had ever imagined. They were tall, slender figures, their elongated heads gleaming in the dim light of the cavernous space. Their eyes were dark, large, and penetrating, and their skin was a pale, translucent gray. They did not speak, but somehow their intentions were clear. They moved with a grace that was unnerving, handling my body like one would handle a fragile object, lifting my limbs, inspecting my broken legs. There was no discomfort, no sensation of being touched, only the overwhelming feeling of being utterly helpless. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. It was as if they had somehow locked me in a cage of thought, not physically, but mentally. Every attempt to move my fingers, to twitch my muscles, was met with resistance. My mind screamed, but my body was mute. The beings seemed to know my pain, and without a word, they began to work. Their hands hovered over my broken legs, and a soothing warmth spread through my limbs. The pain that had been unbearable moments before started to ebb away, replaced by a strange sense of calm. The fractures in my bones began to mend, my flesh knitting back together under their careful touch. When it was over, the feeling of paralysis vanished, leaving me weak but whole. I could move again, but the beings were still there, watching me with their strange, unblinking eyes. And then, through a voice that echoed in my mind, one of them spoke. "You have been chosen," it said. "This is the beginning of your understanding." I had no idea what they meant, but the answer would come soon enough. Days, or perhaps weeks, passed. Time was irrelevant in the strange realm of the moon's inner sanctum. I learned the truth, an awe-inspiring and horrifying truth that shattered everything I thought I knew. The moon, as I had always believed, was not a natural satellite. It was an ancient artificial structure. These beings, tall, slender, and powerful, had built it long ago, millennia before humanity's existence. They were not just visitors, they were the architects of our world. They had shaped humanity's development, guiding us in subtle ways, manipulating our genetics, shaping our culture. They had been to Earth before, long before civilization took form. They had walked among the Sumerians, guided them, and even built the pyramids. But their mission was not just to observe. They needed something from us, something we didn't even know we could provide. Oxygen. You see, the beings' home planet was dying, and they had come to Earth to extract oxygen, something essential to their survival. But despite their advanced technology, they had failed. They could not extract the quantity they needed, not from the air, not from the plants, not from anything. It took them centuries to figure it out, and when they did, they realized the unthinkable. They had been searching in the wrong place. The only place in the universe where oxygen existed in sufficient quantities to make fire. Truly make fire, not just the simple chemical reaction of combustion, was here on Earth. Our planet had an environment that was perfect for producing fire, thanks to the abundance of oxygen in our atmosphere. This was something they had never encountered anywhere else in the universe, and they needed it to sustain their species. The oxygen was essential not just for their biology, but for their technology as well. Without it, they couldn't produce fire. Without fire, their machines would fail. They could not forge metal, could not generate energy, could not survive. And now, the situation had become dire. The aliens had been on Earth for millions of years, and they had tried everything to extract what they needed. They had manipulated our evolution, subtly guiding humanity's development for their own purposes. They had made contact with early civilizations, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, and helped them build great structures. The pyramids, the ziggurats, they were all part of the alien plan, not just monuments to the gods, but massive machines to harness the planet's resources. And still, they had failed. That's when their plans shifted. The aliens realized that to gather the necessary oxygen, they needed something far greater than what Earth's atmosphere could provide. They needed to extract liquid water, the oceans. The hydrogen-oxygen bond within water could be broken down to release the oxygen they needed. But here was the catch. Earth's oceans contained the only usable form of oxygen they could harvest. To extract it, they would have to drain the oceans completely, and in doing so, destroy the planet. When I finally managed to escape their grasp, I fled. I took one of their ships, a sleek, dark vessel that hummed with a power beyond comprehension, and I returned to Earth. I thought I was free, but I was wrong. As soon as my ship breached Earth's atmosphere, military jets scrambled to intercept me. I was taken prisoner, shackled in a facility I did not recognize. A faction of our own government had been working with the aliens all along, collaborating with them to extract oxygen and to understand the technology behind their plans. They knew what was coming, and they were complicit. I had been used as a pawn, and now they saw me as a threat. The government faction had no idea of the full scope of the aliens' plan. They thought they were working with an advanced race of extraterrestrials to harness energy to advance humanity, but the aliens had deceived them. Their true plan was far more devastating. I was kept in a high-security facility, isolated and interrogated. They wanted to know everything I had learned about the aliens, their technology, and the moon. They knew about the oxygen extraction process, but they had never considered what would happen if the aliens succeeded. If the oceans were drained, the Earth would be uninhabitable. Humanity would perish. But as the weeks passed, I realized something. There were others who understood the true threat. A resistance was forming, and they were willing to fight back. In a daring, covert operation, the resistance infiltrated the alien control center, hidden deep within Earth's military strongholds. We worked together, gathered intelligence, and made one final, desperate assault on the alien base. With the help of the advanced alien technology, we launched an attack on the moon itself, targeting their ancient satellite base. The moon was no longer just an observer to our history. It was the key to our survival. We hacked into the satellite's systems, taking control of the moon's immense power and its advanced weaponry. The aliens were not prepared for the onslaught. Their technology, though powerful, was no match for the combined might of human ingenuity and the Resistance's determination. We defeated them, one by one, taking control of their shipyards, their factories, their vast data networks. By the time we finished, the moon was ours. We had taken the satellite, the technology, and the knowledge that had been hidden from humanity for so long. We now controlled the very thing the aliens had built to dominate the universe. Earth was safe. We had won. The aliens had failed in their attempt to drain the oceans, and with their defeat, humanity emerged victorious. The technology from the moon opened new possibilities, new frontiers for humanity to explore. No longer would we be limited by the resources of Earth alone. We had access to an entire universe of knowledge, power, and discovery. But one thing was clear. We had learned a profound lesson. The universe was vast, and humanity was no longer just a passive species on the edge of the galaxy. We had the technology to defend ourselves, the wisdom to know when to fight, and the strength to survive. The moon, a relic of a forgotten age, was now ours to shape, and we would never be the same again.